from. Tell your girl she can kick it if she wants some, but we got no time to waste.
Welcome to 4AZ. I'm your host, Tyler McDowell Blanken. On this edition, we'll review episodes 19 and 20 of season 5 of Abbott Elementary. As always, you know how we do it here. We'll discuss the latest storylines, fan theories, and so much more. I feel extra excited to welcome back my co-hosts, Sarah Beth and Mike Steph. We're going to begin with episode 19, Trip. Some background in case you forgot. Janine and Gregory plan a trip to the Outer Banks, but their plans hit a rough patch when they disagree on finances and they decide to break up. Barbara realizes her kindergartners are lying to her about eating their snacks, and Melissa receives a visit by a student from her very first year of teaching. Realizing he was convicted of scamming seniors, she refuses to write a letter to the judge for him. We'll start out in Marana, Arizona, as we tend to do. Sarah Beth, welcome back. What did you think of Trip?
I forgot how much happened in that episode till you did the recap, because I really focused on the ending with Janine and Gregory. Totally forgot about Sheminti and her student coming back, and also the kindergartners lying about the snacks. It was a good episode. Like, as much as I hate how it ended, it was a really solid episode. Like, I feel like we're finally back on track with Abbott, with like the drama and the like things carrying over from episode to episode. So it was really good. I'm really interested to see how the season ends. It's very interesting that they kind of waited till the end of the season to have Gregory and Janine like split, and like seeing where that goes. So I thought it was really good. I don't know.
I have a couple of theories that we'll get to.
I'm sure you do.
Much later on in the podcast about what you said. Yeah, Sarah Beth, it's really, I shared this with you both before we started recording. This is such an important 2-pack for season 5. It might be my favorite 2 episodes of season 5, because not only did the episodes play off each other, as you alluded to, the tea is extra strong on this edition of the podcast, because this felt so real. There wasn't like a cheating storyline, there wasn't any infidelity, there wasn't any of that. It just felt grounded in reality of, sometimes it'd be like that. Finances, kind of a personality clash of what you want to go. So I can't wait to dig in.
Yeah, and I think that was the first time like they really could not.
Mike Steph, what did you think of Trip?
Trip was a good episode. I will second the emotion of Sarah Beth when this was probably one of the best 2-packs, if not the best 2-pack of the year. Abbott has gotten back on track from the aspect of the wit, the situations in which the characters are presented is realistic. It's not just for a quick laugh or just for a shock value. And every character had, sans Ava, but every character had a prominent position in this episode. Every character played off of each other, but there was for a specific task. Ava, I guess you would say in the cold open, that was her when they were doing the podcast, Jacob's podcast, and they was like, yeah, podcasts are, normally for hot takes and not for information. She was like, no, I'm here for the hot takes, which in reality, a lot of podcasts get their notoriety through hot takes, not for information. But it was a good episode. It was a good episode that linked into the second one And I spent my 44 minutes combined watching this, really thinking that I'm probably going to end up running it back before next week so I can get whatever little drops that I missed that I'm quite sure they put breadcrumbs down that I probably didn't grasp for the whole thing. So and I think they're going to lead into this two-part finale where even though it's not two parts, but this two-episode finale for next week.
For sure. Sarah Beth, I think I may have cut you off earlier. My apologies. I want to
Okay.
go back to you for trip thoughts, and I specifically want to know, as someone who has influenced, easy for me to say, the hearts and minds of so many students over the years. What did you think of your homegirl Melissa Chimenti and the storyline involving her former student who is scamming seniors?
I like knowing that feeling. Like, I love when my former students come back and like visit me, or I just happen to run into them at like different district things. And so it is such like an exciting moment, especially when they have become like successful, or even not just but like have done well. I've got one student who like is sitting, I think last time I talked to him, like 4.0 GPA. He's like the president of a couple like clubs and things. And like, especially when it's like someone that like I really had to provide some additional guidance, because sometimes behaviors can be hard, or like I typically have students on on IEPs. And so like when like it's such like a rewarding moment, and then it's also just this like gut punch, because in my head I'm always like, I just want you to turn out to be good humans. And for him to turn out to be a con man, like that's a hard, like, especially given, right? Like his was like, I've asked everyone else and they've told me no. Like a lot of my kids know, like, I'll still go to bat for you. Like if you can prove to me, like, you've changed your ways or whatever, I would write a character witness. Obviously not for him, because like you have clearly, like, he wasn't remorseful. I think what I liked though was like what Ava had said at the end of like, yeah, but remember how many of your students have not turned, like, this is one out of how many, like, and then I did like that she also asked for tips on the cryptocurrency thing. So it was one where like I started out like before he had asked, like I was just so excited for her from that like teacher perspective of like, I know how much like it always means so much to me. And it was funny, as I was watching it, I had a couple different like recent stories that had played through my head of like really touching moments with students that had like graduated and things they had said to me. And then he comes back and asks for the character witness letter, and I was like, maybe not. Maybe I don't need to share those. Type of thing, you know what I mean? Where I was like, oh, didn't see that coming.
Right. Yeah, I figured when the character was introduced, I was really, and Abbott has these moments fairly frequently. I figured, okay, this seems too good to be true. I wonder what the real story is, and it turns out he's a scammer. You can't win them all.
You can't.
Mike Steph.
I have a quick story about something similar that involved me, of all people. Not so much of the gap of years from when I had the teacher or what have you, but long story short, senior year high school, right? I went to a prestigious New York City high school. I will refrain from saying what high school I went to protect the innocent. So I got myself in trouble senior year, right? And I had what they called a superintendent suspension, which was bigger than a regular school suspension. So you had to go in front of the Board of Ed and pretty much plead your case on whether or not they should expel you from the school or not. Because I just got into, I was involved in something that it was a fight, but I was involved in something that pretty much the warning was given, and I didn't realize the warning was given. So since I was involved in that incident, it was like, all right, we talked to y'all before, you're out of here. You, darn, your record's clean, but still, we want to run a reason, right? So they came and got me out of my government class, and I had,
did a police car just go by as well? Well,
no. I live by the fire department. That's mine.
that was That was a Miranda. That
It's a
timing was
Miranda.
crazy. We did not. My point is, we did not add that. The production team did not add that. That was organic coming
Sorry,
from Miranda
I live on a main
for a story
road.
emanating from Brooklyn.
No, it's okay.
I love what we do here. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Mike Steph, we are locked into the story. Fire, siren,
No.
police cars or not. That was organic. That was good.
Yeah, it was perfect timing. So,
Statute of
long story.
limitations has passed as well. Okay.
Yeah, long
Warning was
story
given.
short, I had a government teacher. Her name was Miss Ross, and and I went down to the dean or what have you, and I ended up getting brought back into the school, right? Because it was like there was no history of him getting involved in enough like this, so we're gonna let him back in. Other two people, they got kicked out, and I didn't realize how much Miss Ross was actually disappointed, like the disappointment in her eyes, because I didn't realize that behind the scenes she actually went to bat for me, as in like, yo, um, listen, he's not a bad kid, blah 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 blah. He got caught up in something, whatever, right? So we fast forward into after senior year. I go back up to the school to pick something in. I went back to the school to pick something up. I just got a notification. I think the Knicks lost. So so I went to go pick up my transcript, and I come with a friend, compadre, actually probably more like an associate. Anyway, I come up to the school with him, and let's say I was in an altered state, so to speak, and I see Miss Ross, and I didn't realize that the altered state that I was in was very apparent upon appearance, right? So I go up to it, and I'm like, "Hey, Miss Ross, how you doing? It's me, it's Michael." And she looked at me. She was like, "Hello, Michael," and walked off. And when I say my heart dropped, because it was one of those, and even when you was talking about this scenario, I'm not sure if y'all noticed, but I actually got in the thought to remember that time, and I'm like, darn, this doesn't really paint me in a great light, but at the same time, it happened, and to see a teacher that I really liked and respected, and which it was vice versa, but for her, that disappointment that she had in her eyes toward me, like 30 some odd years, I still remember that. I still feel that. Like, darn, like I really, in my mind, I really let her down. Not once. Like she got me out of something. Then after I'm out the school and graduate or what have you, for me to come back in and for her to see, like, darn, like what happened to that fresh-eyed freshman that I had when he was 14 years old. Now this is what he does after he leaves the school or what have you. So yeah, I can that was my just my experience, but I can definitely see that from Melissa's point of view of, darn, like I thought he was one way, or when he came back into my life, and I heard all these things about him, and then to realize that what I thought was distorted and not totally true to what the image that I had of him, I could definitely relate, at least on the other side of the disappointment factor.
Wow. Yeah, Mike, thanks for sharing that. It just gives me a lot of reflection when we think about the role that teachers play in our lives. And if we're fortunate, we have those special few or many teachers where their approval means a lot to us when we're in their class. That next year when we're not in their class anymore, but we see them on campus, or to your point, Mike Steph, when you have graduated and yet you see them, and it was as if you were 14 again in Miss Ross's class, and that approval means a lot. Teachers are special. It is different.
Yeah.
I don't have a story like that because I was a perfect child, but I can empathize.
I think too, there's a piece like from like the teacher perspective of, because even Melissa like touched on it, of like, this isn't who, like, you're a teacher then. Mike knew that wasn't like who you were. Like, if she went to bat for you, like, yeah, she's probably disappointed in the moment. I'm not gonna pretend like she wasn't, but it's that piece of like, she also knew who you were. And so I think there's that piece of like, I know like when we look back on those moments and like we feel, and I actually had this conversation recently with one of my students who had really struggled when he, after third grade. And one of the things like we had talked about was he'd made a comment about how a teacher after me, like where he just reflected, right? Like I was terrible to her. And I remember telling him, and I was like, and he's like, she had every right to hate me. And I was like, but she didn't. Like, I know she didn't. I said, because she went to bat for you. And her and I had a lot of conversations. I said, but it wasn't that she hated you. She was disappointed in the choices you made. Yeah, absolutely. I was like, but she didn't hate you because she knew that those choices stemmed from something outside of what was happening in the classroom. And she knew that's not who you were. And so, like, I always think like there's that big piece, because that was what I really took away, even with in Melissa's like conversation with him, was like, this isn't who you are. This isn't who you have to be. She wasn't even so much disappointed that like he'd been in trouble. It was that he wasn't remorseful and wasn't wanting to change. And I think that's what was more upsetting. Versus, you know, like I always like remind, like one of the conversations I constantly have was like, hey, remember we're teaching kids. Like, and I know like it's frustrating. Like my principal and I just recently had a conversation just around behavior and like how do we help support staff with dealing with these increases in behaviors and things like that. It's not even an increase. It's a different type of behavior than what we're used to seeing. And I was like, you know, it's really easy. I said, that like I know a behavior isn't personal. I know that like when a student's acting out, it's not me. But in the moment when like, and I can step away and I can compartmentalize. But when like one of the things we'll hear all the time is like, well, don't take it personal. And it's like, yeah, but it kind of is. But also like knowing it's not you. And that's even like how I feel, that like it's not personal. Like when I'm giving you a consequence, it's not personal. It's because when I'm disappointed in you, it's not personal. It's because I know who you are, but I also know who you can be, I guess.
That's a bar. Shout out Miss Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shout out Sarah Beth and Mike Steph as well. Trip, I just had a feeling following Trip that we were in for an epic 2-pack of season 5. I'm also a sucker looking at the episode titles we've had throughout the history of Abbott. I'm a sucker for just these titles that grab me. So when I saw Trip, my first thought was that Janae Aiko R&B album from years ago that I really enjoyed. That was a whole era of my life. Granted, that album was about like LSD and other things. So a lot of it I couldn't relate to, but the songs were dope. This episode clearly was not about LSD. It was about Janine and Gregory and the breakup that happened, which led us into episode 20, the best episode so far in season 5. I want to talk about Night Out. In an attempt to cheer them up after the breakup, Ava and Erica take Janine out to the bar, while Jacob and Caleb take Gregory to the club. Both separately admit that they are depressed and regret the breakup. I think we've all been there, but refuse to talk to the other. Meanwhile, Melissa and Mr. Johnson attempt to watch Avatar, Fire and Ash, but are constantly interrupted by Barbara's questions. The next morning, Jacob and Ava begin working on getting Janine and Gregory back together. My goodness, I said we begin in Brooklyn this go round. Mike Steph, I've already teased my affinity for Night Out. What say you?
Okay. Far be it for me to step on anybody's toes. Far be it for me to act like I'm the point guard, dishing and dismissing and feeding people for easy layups and open 3-pointers. But we totally skipped over the elephant in the room when it came to Trip. And that is the reason why Janine and Gregory broke up. And the build of tension throughout the episode between the two, between them both being passive aggressive individuals and not being able to put their feelings on the table and actually talk about it like two grown adults that are cohabiting an apartment together, and not only are just not only are just co-workers, but lovers at night and co-workers during day. We can't just summarily just dismiss what happened.
You're
Of
right.
course.
Yeah, it was it was real.
I think we got caught up.
It really did.
Got caught up in the feelings.
So
We sure did. It was the both of them standing on. I know I don't want to steal your shot, Mike Steph. It was both of them standing on business, and like you said, well, I don't want to do that. I would rather do this. I think it's a waste of money. Gregory said it just felt so grounded in reality. It felt so grounded in who those two characters are. To me, it was brilliant, and we needed some tension this season. This is what we've been longing for. At least I have for much of the back half of season 5. Sarah Beth.
We did. I think too, like it really, like they've had a lot of character growth, but also like the conflict really shows that they're still rooted in like their old ways, because Janine really like it was a huge, like they were not communicating. Like she really thought the compromise was paying for the tickets because she really thought money was the issue. And that's who Janine is, right? Like when you think about like everything with Therese, she paid for everything. And that's also like, and I can't remember if she's like the oldest daughter, but like that's like her role with her mom. Like she takes care of everything. And so when the problem to her was identified, that it's about the money, not understanding it was his view on the money, not on how the money should be spent. So she went and like solved that problem. What's interesting is like Gregory's, though, it was about the fact that it's what he wanted to do. So I'm going to change the trip entirely so that flights aren't even an option. And so like, it was a very like the difference too is like for her, it was about, well, how do I get you to go on the trip with me? And his point of view was, how do I get you to do what I want to do? Like what they were trying to compromise on was two very different things. She was trying to compromise on how do I get you there with me? His was, how do I like get you to do what I want you to do? Right. And we know that about Gregory. Like he's very like black and white. His way is the right way. He struggles with flexible thinking. I've been doing a lot of executive functioning research. And some things. So like, I was like, oh, I can see exactly where it is. But then also it came very clear when they were in the classroom talking about it, and his response, what I think is where I really sided and felt for Janine was like, he wasn't hearing her, because it was not only that, but then he makes the comment about like, I'd rather be cheap than stupid with money or whatever, like, which was such, right. And again, at that point, it wasn't about communication. It was about, I need to be right. And Janine needs to know, like, she really and she also needed to work on like the communication aspect. But like, again, it came back to his was about proving to her why she's wrong. But I think what was like most like impactful is when she looked at him and said, when you're saying that, you're saying you think I'm irresponsible. And I don't, and he still like, that was not connecting for him of like, when you say that, you're saying that about me. And I think that's where, I know it's a sitcom. I've got a feeling one way or the other, we're going to get a resolution. Maybe not, but like going into it, like, yes, they really made it sound like the break was mostly because like he didn't fight for it. But I also, I don't know if this is more like theory corner or like concern corner, is that my concern is like he's going to do some big grand gesture to get her back, and we're going to ignore the fact that like she made it very clear, like, you were calling me irresponsible, like this is a dig at me, you're saying you can't trust me to be responsible. And so I'm interested, I guess, to see how it does get resolved, because it was very personal for her. That's why she made that comment, we should break up.
I'll say this. Well, valid points all around. And yes, he was being very rigid and very stubborn. And they were talking on two different they were talking about two different things, um, and both trying to get their way, even though Gregory's was more absolute of, listen, no, this is what we're gonna do. But if a man is being called cheap, we're automatically gonna get in our feelings. So by her saying, well, you don't have to worry about the money, I took care of it, because you're being frugal. That automatically is going. If he had his defenses up, they're just going to be up even more. Because it's like now. While I understand, or in this case, didn't understand where she was coming from, but as soon as you say cheap, that's a blow to our ego. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nah, That's why he made the comment of, yeah, one thing to be cheap is another thing not to have no money, no money with debt, or debt with money. Like that was an automatic, just a jab back. Like, whoa, like you went there and called me cheap. Like, shoot, we're in for them to not have these issues ironed out, but yet they're cohabiting the same place. And part of the reason why they're cohabiting the same place was primarily because it started out as a money issue. And for you to throw that in my face of, hold on, I'm cheap, but yeah, I'm the one that came up with this idea for us to, like that was wrong. But without also the problem between the two was, like you said, Gregory is all about, he's logical, he's practical, and he's frugal, right? Janine, she's thinking of vacations like in terms of relaxation, fun. He's talking about itinerary. Listen, you can have some ideas of what you want to do on a vacation. If you're not on a cruise, there's no reason to have which go itinerary from A to Z. And even when you're on a cruise, the itinerary is pretty much given to you at the beginning of the morning. This is what's available. This is what you can do between these times. You choose what you want to do. So for him talking about, yeah, we're gonna get up 4 o'clock in the morning. Listen, I'm on vacation. I'm not getting up no 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not even gonna say, yo, we're not gonna do no hiking. I'm just not getting up no 4 o'clock in the morning to do no hiking. But I think the 4 o'clock in the morning with the drive also take you a little which go peek behind the wisdom of Steph. When it comes to me and my wife, right now, I don't like flying if I don't have to. It's not even so much a fear of flying, even though I've gotten over that the last couple of years, because I've been flying more in the last couple of years than I did my whole life previously. So I've gotten over the fear of flying. Like, I don't have a fear of flying. Listen, I'm afraid of heights, but if I'm in this 10, I don't got to worry about, unless there's a defect that I'm going to fall out the 10. The 10 is going to fall, and I'm going to be inside the 10, so I'm good, right? But I don't like flying for all the minutia that you have to deal with, the TSA lines, the inconsiderate people that want to put this stuff in the cabin above your seat, not their own seat, your seat. The different classes. We're calling Group A, we're calling Group B, we're calling Group C. All that minutia. When I get in a car, listen, I rent a car, I drive. And guess who's with me? My loved ones. Those are the only people I got to deal with. But my wife, she wouldn't mind flying because, like, all right, do we need to take a 10-hour drive or can we fly? But we come to a compromise because that's what people of 31 years together do, of being married 27 years and counting do. We come to a compromise. You know what? This would be a good time for me and my babe to be on the road and have alone time together. She doesn't drive, but guess what? Very seldom does she go to sleep. She's my second pair of eyes. But this is things that I can understand the situation. I can understand the differences, but this is stuff that should be on the table for them to have a discussion with. And for them not to even have a discussion before they even thought about this, and for them to be on polar opposites, that was the whole reason of, I'm not quite sure if this is going to be tied up in a nice bow by the end of the season. I think we're looking at the part in the to borrow a phrase from Mr. McDowell, we're looking at Cliffhanger Jones here, personally. But yeah, I like the last thing, for them to literally showcase their passive aggressiveness in the classroom when he's teaching the lesson based on the situation at hand, and him not even having the awareness of, dude, your girl teaches in the next room. You have a booming voice. You don't think she's going to hear what you're saying? That's why she came in there like, oh, I see what you're doing. Guess what? I was having the same situation, but guess what? He was so much in his bubble, he didn't even realize that she was doing what she was doing, but she realized what he was doing, and that caused even more cracks in the relationship. Like, darn, you're letting our personal life bleed into our professional life. I don't know. To me, trip was a trip, for real. There's so many, I won't even say Easter egg, but there's so many things that's in that episode that going forward, I guess going forward into season 6, will rear its head based on that particular episode. Night Out, we're going to get to right now, but Night Out, the more I'm talking about it and the more it's refreshing in my head, this was a masterpiece. These 2 episodes was a masterpiece.
They really were. And for the latter, episode 20, Night Out, that was a great promo, Mike Steph. It's like you have your own podcast or something. Okay, there's so much I want to say. The brilliance of this was the surprise of this 2-pack, because I did not foresee, and I don't even know if we've talked about it at length on the pod, I didn't foresee Gregory, Eddie, Janine Teague's breakup arc coming on the back half of the season. So the shock value of it, paired with, again, how grounded it was in just real life, trying to make relationships work. Mike Steph, you pointed out dating someone who you work with and the complexities of that. But we finally got Night Out. And my goodness, I'm ready to say this may enter top 5 all-time Abbott territory for me. I've had about a week to think about this, and I am still enamored with this episode. Sarah Beth, I see you smiling. I think you agree. You enjoyed Gregory returning to the club. You enjoyed Janine with the comeuppance on Ava.
When he's on the bar and he's like, chase me or something like that. Ridiculous. Caleb, hilarious, like from the get-go, where they're like
Caleb
at the beginning, the cold
the
opening, where like how Minty loves Caleb too. Like the entire episode was like solid. Janine calling out Ava. Ava's
that may have been the sequence of the whole episode. I mean, that was cathartic. That was redemptive. That was
right. And then her being like, I'm taking your toothpaste. You were really mean to me last night. Like, she was like, just. And it was also like true to who everyone was. Where even just when she made the comment about like not tipping the Uber or something with the Uber, I can't remember. And her going, that's his livelihood. Oh, you gave him a 1 star. And Janine's response was like, but that's his livelihood. Barber with the I've never seen an Avatar movie, and I never will. I just know. I know who they're like 3 hours. I know I will not get through it. So until they break it down to like 20-minute episodes, I will never watch it. Because my brain, every time I go, it's like, I'm not sitting here for I can't. I don't watch a lot of movies because I can't. As soon as my brain sees something over an hour and 30 minutes, it's like, that's a really long time. I don't have time to sit here. And then I sit here for 6 hours watching 45 minutes of something. I know.
I'm on my third attempt to try to watch one battle after another. I think I'm up to maybe like the 35-minute mark.
That was a really good movie.
I was like,
Mike
oh, that's
Steph.
a long movie. Huh?
That was a really good movie. I saw that.
So
Sinners
good.
are my top spot for 2025, but one battle after another was right there.
But I'm sorry.
We're not going to get into the Sinners conversation. It's one of the greatest movies of the decade. We'll have to debate off
forever. Am I?
Yeah, Mike Steph is leaving the podcast. All right, we'll see you for the post finale, Mike Steph. Sarah Beth, please, as you were speaking.
So totally like relate, but also just like Barbara having to like pause it every like just the like insanity that
Barbara Howard at Jim
is. By the way, they did this all on a Thursday night. All of them. I already lost it when you were like, you said you texted Mike at like 11 o'clock last night. I was in bed by like 9:30 last night.
I love that for you.
Thank you. But like, I also just, all I could think is like, I could not imagine having to go to work, like for any of them. I couldn't imagine having to go to work. Also, Mr. Johnson pulling his uniform out of his backpack.
Yeah, that was.
It's all
a onesie.
I thought,
a onesie uniform.
It's a onesie. But like, just thinking too, and then on top of it, like just the reality that is, then you have to go and teach the next day.
Yeah, it's different.
Especially when you're like going through it of like just how much like you do have to compartmentalize. Even like when they were fighting the like episode before, and then to still have to go like, listen, every teacher's been there. There's been many times I've had to go and put on like a happy face while I'm mad because
life.
I didn't get a text back, or like we got into a fight last night. Or I'm like kind of grumpy and I'm trying not to be because it's not the kid's fault that, it's
not your kid's fault he didn't respond yet. Yeah.
Exactly. Or that we got into a fight about something stupid or whatever it is. Like,
yeah, of course. Life. Yes. There's a life outside the classroom.
And then I think about like my teachers growing up where I'm like, they had lives outside of.
Crazy.
Like, it's an insane, again, they came and taught me when they were probably going through it. And that's an insane thought. Like, the more, like, I gotta stop thinking about it because I'm just thinking about, like, or like, again, how many times were they hungover? We've all been there. Except for probably Tyler,
Yeah, I was going to say, you too, I want to empathize with you too, but I just,
Yeah, you're kind of a role follower. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm now at the point though, like in my career where like I went to a concert up in Phoenix and I took the next day off because I was like, I'm gonna get home at 1. No way.
As you should.
Like you should use your PTO. But like I remember going to like early on and then going and working a full day. Today I'm like, absolutely not. There is no way I would have been calling in sick if I was Janine. Like. There's no way.
Well, Sarah Beth, we're glad you enjoyed your Backstreet Boys concert, and we're glad you took the time for.
That was actually my first concert in the 5th grade. Was the Backstreet Boys?
Who did you see for this example? Where you called out the next day? Which band did you see?
I saw Zach Bryan.
I feel like you may have told us this. Oh, okay, very nice. That was in Glendale, right?
Yeah.
That was at Westgate. Okay, very nice.
Yep.
Maybe we can look it up. Production team can look it up. I want to say one more thing about
Phoenix
Night Out.
Like it's all the same to me. It's Phoenix. I don't know.
Okay, we're working on it. I will say
we're not
also a very effective element of Night Out for me. Like you both pointed out. I forget Sarah Beth or Mike Steph, which one of you brought up Mr. Johnson taking out the uniform, the onesie. But also, I think it was the very end of this episode. Gregory is he's just going through the most. He's in the gymnasium of the school, sleeping on a basketball. He is not awake to see Jacob Shout out to whoever the stunt double was that played Jacob in this sequence. He misses Jacob throwing down a tomahawk jab, a 360, just these incredible athletic feats on the court. And meanwhile, Gregory is right there sleeping, and then the episode ends. And we are now all eagerly awaiting, as Mike Steph brought up earlier, this 2-part season 5 finale, which is going to be dropping this Wednesday night, in fact. Now, before we get there, of course, I don't know if there's been a more important theory corner of the season, quite frankly. So ahead of this 2-part finale, episode 21 entitled Ava and Fest, and then episode 22, Miami, again, both slated to drop this Wednesday evening, April 22nd, 2026. It's time for theory corner. I have 2. Number 1, we are definitely going to hear Miami by Will Smith played during that final episode. I think Will Smith, quite frankly, has an underrated discography. I don't know how we feel about that in our year 2026, but as someone who has followed Will Smith throughout his career, I'm excited for the prospect of hearing I'm going to Miami. Secondly, we've danced around this all episode. Sarah Beth, you even alluded to this. Mike Steph, you did as well. What is the fate of Gregory and Janine's relationship? I don't think this is going to be a breakup in full. This is them taking some time apart, but I believe they are most certainly going to reconcile and get back together. And dare I say, hopefully be stronger than ever. In my notes, I have proposal season in all caps. Maybe we do get that grand gesture. Maybe Gregory does make up for his faults in season 5. He gets down on one knee and pops the question. I think we get to hear Miami by Will Smith played. Maybe even Will Smith pops up. Maybe he's Ava's guest of honor in Miami. Who knows? I think we get a proposal to end this episode. You both look incredibly enthused by this prediction.
You think we're going to get a proposal to end the season?
To end the season, absolutely.
Really?
That's my theory corner. Listen.
Oh.
You both can take it as you want. We need this couple to thrive. I say the proposal goes down in Miami to end season 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. Sarah Beth, what say you? Theory corner.
I think if there's a proposal, she's going to say no. If he proposes this soon after break, or
Yes.
if that's the grand gesture,
Yeah.
I don't know that she would accept.
This always works on The Bachelor and Bachelorette, another ABC property.
How does it work in the long term, Tyler?
Never.
For the Bachelor? Oh, never.
In real life, never.
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping Mike Steph can break the tie here.
I just think about all the work she's done after everything Tariq put her. Were her and Tariq ever engaged? Or I don't think they were, right?
I don't think so.
This long term. But I just
Tariq
think
proposing, I have a hard time.
And not saying that it's been different with Gregory, right? But she put up with a lot with Tariq that I think should be way more hesitant to just this again has been a pretty big fight, and a lot of it was taken a lot of it felt like it was, you're saying that about me, it's a reflection of me. And I think especially for Janine being someone who clearly feels things so deeply, that for her to stay true to her character, I can't see her just I don't see her holding grudge and holding it over his head, but going from this to engaged that quickly, I don't love it, I guess.
I
love your optimism. I love your optimism, Taylor.
And I value your realness, Sarah Beth. And Mike Steph is going to break this tie.
And I also recognize it's the real.
Listen, we get real here on the pod. We know how this goes. Mike Steph, will you break the tie? And do you have any theories for the season 5 finale? Rest assured, we're going to be back next week to discuss the season 5 finale and season 5 as a whole. But Mike Steph, you got to break this tie and let us know if you got any theories. This is it.
Okay. Two things. One, the action by both in that club was insane. Gregory's song, because I love this episode because we saw the alternative version of themselves in full. Like, all right, this is the buttoned up version. This is the version that they willingly want to put out, but this is the version that's underneath all that facade. Like, Gregory favorite song being "This Is Why I'm Hot." It's so on brand to the fact that he kept on
shout out Mims. Do you remember? Do you remember Mims?
Yeah, I remember him. That's why I say this is so on Mims? Brand for Gregory's favorite
music
song
is my
"This
savior.
Is Why I'm Hot." You know, for him to to get on the DJ not once, not twice, but like 3 times. Play it back, run it back, turn it up. He's on top of the. He's on top of the bar.
Think about it. I just keep remembering where he's like, look, he's hyping me up. And he's like, no, I'm telling you to get that. Like, also,
that song was
I kept
so
thinking while you were talking about the proposal about Janine telling Ava about how Sean, like, going something about like going.
You went from an NBA champion to the Geek Squad. With your Temu dress. With your Temu clothes. And your polyester hair. with your fake degrees and your weave. I'm like, that was Janine's mother.
She even said,
yeah, that was Janine's mother. Like, that shows you that that's in her. She's made a concerted effort not to be that. But give her a couple Long Island iced teas, Janine's moms come out. The Philly come out. So with that being said, I don't think there's going to be any proposal. I don't think it's going to be a proposal in a denial. Like, no, I'll throw this out, and this is just left field because we haven't seen this dude once again disappearing at. But doesn't he have a movie? So that's probably why he's been that's probably why he hasn't been in this episode. I mean, in this season, because he was filming that movie, right? But I think possibility that O'Shawn want his boo to become his lady.
I had that same thought though.
So if anything,
I think we're gonna see if we do see a proposal. I think
you think it's Ocean.
And I think that's where the title Miami comes in.
No, we got to put this.
That's where the title Miami comes in.
Janine and Gregory over O'Shawn and Ava.
150%.
I think too. You got to look at the difference. Like both sets of couples have grown.
Yes.
Ava and O'Shawn though actually communicate. Like they get stubborn and they take a minute. But like you can tell, like they are secure and they communicate with each other. Janine and Gregory still haven't figured out that piece. Like even outside of this, Janine and Gregory still see everything as a compromise. O'Shawn and Ava, yes, it's a compromise, but also there's a lot of places where it's like it's not a compromise because it doesn't need to be. Like. And I can't like where like a lot of times where he's like, I'm not like the Valentine's thing, like this isn't a compromise because it shouldn't even be a dislike. I think there's a difference, but I think that also goes back to O'Shawn is very secure in who he is, and Ava's very secure in who she is.
Yeah. But
they're also very secure in who they are as a couple.
Yes.
Because even when you look at Janine and Gregory, so much of it, their relationship is based on everyone else influencing it. Everyone else helping them. Everyone else guiding them, mentoring them. That if anyone deserves to get engaged, it's O'Shawn and Ava, in my opinion.
So once again, the Winder twins team up on Tyler.
I have been defeated, But I'm hopeful. I'm very excited for this season finale. Before we get out of here, we have to give out some A's, some A pluses. In fact, I'll start this one. This may be a controversial choice, but at this point, I've already lost the battle,
Is it
and I
Quinta?
feel really good about.
Sorry,
I feel really
Janine.
good about this pick. My A
Janine.
plus is not going to Janine this episode. It is. You both are going to love this, or you're going to hate it. I'm curious to hear what our audience thinks.
I think I know
I'm
what you're talking
choosing the club as a character. The club as a character has won my A plus for these reasons. Hear me out. Some of my favorite shows and just cultural milestones have included a club. I'm thinking of how much I love the sitcom Living Single back in the day with Queen Latifah and company. I'm thinking of how transformative watching Nelly's Hot in Here video from 2002 was for my life. I had that album, one of the greatest videos in hip hop history, undeniably, I would say at this point.
Tip
And then
Drill
finally,
was one of the favorite videos in hip hop history. Tip Drill.
we are not talking BET uncut. We are talking about BET proper. We're talking about 106 in Park here, Mike Steph. I don't know what you were watching when you were up till 11 p.m. back in the day or later, but this also allows us on social media to post Kaylani's "Hate the Club" song this week for the episode. I even brought a prop. I think you two know my love of Kaylani. New R&B album this week. It was good until
Well,
it
let you
wasn't.
like showed it so
Hate the
close.
Club
she
with Masego.
Like,
Whoa. Virgin eyes.
Now listen, you're okay. Listen, this is just a great week for clubs in TV shows and movies and music videos. The club as a character in the lore of Abbott, as a character in the lore of my entertainment consumption over the years, the club was doing it for me. This night out is a top 5 Abbott episode for me all time. I said it. Sarah Beth, who's earning your A plus?
Ava has
Coleman.
earned my plus, yeah, because when you think about one, I agree, this is probably one of my favorite episodes, Night Out. But when she walked into the staff lounge and found out what was happening, like she did not make fun of Janine. Like that was a moment where like I think she's still Ava. She showed like true like leadership and how far she's come, right? Because she knew something was wrong. She knew, right? We're going out, but it wasn't like her usual. Like she tried to kind of play it off, like, oh, and it's this night, and like I haven't, but like usually, right, she's gonna like use Janine as the excuse, and then she just showed up, right? I told you we were going out. She showed up for Janine because she like that like, and we know this, but like she truly showed up. She was truly there for Janine. She stayed the night because she was a little worried about Janine, like I can't go home. And even when, right, like I probably would have come across the table. I don't care how heartbroken you are or how drunk you are. You start talking to me like that, I'm coming across the table. I'm not going to lie. Like, and we know Ava's a scrapper, right? She did it. Like, she really, like, the growth and the immaturity she showed in this episode. And even then, like, and she even, like, admitted, like, when she said, like, you were really mean to me last night. Like, you could hear it in her voice. She was hurt. Like,
yeah,
wasn't holding it over her,
she
but
showed
also
her vulnerability.
Like, her vulnerability of like, you did cross a line. I know it wasn't you, but you crossed a line. And I think that just, again, the growth and like showing up for her staff because she does care about them. She's still going to be Ava, but like she never once made fun of Janine or Gregory, like for breaking up. Like it wasn't a joke to her. She knew it wasn't a joke. And so Ava gets my A+.
Mike Steph, take us home.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think she did make it. I don't know. For some reason, maybe in my head, I'm thinking like I knew me and O'Shawn was gonna last job, but I don't think she did. I don't think she did. My A+ is gonna go to someone that it's not gonna be go to an inanimate object. What? It's a noun, a person, place, or thing. Since I'm on the line with two teachers, you're gonna put a noun. Well, technically, all of us are choosing nouns. It's just we're using persons,
Proper
not a place
nouns.
or thing. Okay, but to get this back on track here, my A+ is going to be none other than Mr. Sensitivity, Jacob, because he's kind of been an integral part in their relationship, in their growing relationship at the beginning before they actually became official. A cheerleader, like, yes, I'm glad y'all got together. Y'all finally got there. And of course, he was more heartbroken than Janine and Gregory were themselves. Like, he was in mourning. Like, he's the one that's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Darn. He wakes up. I mean, as soon as Gregory wakes up, are you okay? Is everything all right? Like, I will say, side topic real quick. I really do appreciate the actor Chris Perfetti.
Those walks he has down the Jennifer Hudson backstage. Somehow it always appears in my algorithm. He is a treasure, truly.
Because I've seen him in roles outside of Abbott, and to me, he's always going to be Jacob. But even in those roles, like I really become a fan of his work. But just the way he was taking it harder than the actual participants of the relationship. Like he's there with a cup of tea and a blanket, looking out the window wistfully. It's like, dude. And on top of that, he actually got a breakthrough with his relationship through the mishaps of Gregory and Janine. He came in, he said he was walking on cloud 9 or whatever, and they were like, whoa, we really don't want to know, but so much of that. But yeah, that he's gonna get my A+.
You better be out there.
I love it. I can't wait for this finale. We want to know who's earning your A+. Let us know in the comments here on YouTube, or hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn at 4AZTeach. Finale predictions are also welcome, of course. We thank you all so much for tuning in. Let's enjoy some Abbott, and we will see you next week for our Season 5 breakdown. See you then.